can never seem to get this right. Okay, hopefully that has improved the lighting slightly. Okie dokie. Right, so we've already taken a look at Norwich, Burnley, Newcastle, Watford, Southampton and Leeds. Today, the next three teams we'll be looking at. Let's have a little look before we get started. Okay, we're up to the 14th. So let me write this down because I don't have to be looking at my phone every 2 seconds. Okay, who else? Okay. Right guys, first off we're going to talk about Crystal Palace. Now, as a Man United fan, you'd think I'd have watched our first game under our new manager by now. Bear in mind we're on Tuesday and it happened on Sunday. I've got to watch Match of the Day yet. I ain't gonna lie, I'll be watching it in a bit. But United played Palace in Ralph's first game, and from what I know, United dominated the game, but struggled to get the breakthrough. I seen the goal. I seen Fred's great goal with his right boot. What a goal that was. I'll be honest, when Patrick Vieira first came into Palace, I was a little bit sceptical. They've tried it before, bringing in a big name manager, and not really. Okay, I lie a little bit there. Frank de Boer wasn't a big name manager, but he was a big name in football. He hadn't really done a great job anywhere else, and after Palace, he didn't do a great job after that really, at Inter Milan, etc. But overall, they give it a go, and he was gone within, I think, 2 months of the season starting, something crazy like that, because it just wasn't up to the job. And then they went to, I think it's Roy Hodgson straight after De Boer, I think so anyway. So when Vieira came in, I was a bit thinking to myself, okay, let's just see how this goes. He could be in and out within a few months, or he could go well. And I'm in no doubt that I'm starting to think it's going quite well for him. Bear with me. He's doing us a really good job. Now bear in mind, when he first came in, the amount of players they let go, honestly I think it was pretty bad management of the club. The players need to go, don't get me wrong. You know, your Scott Dancy, Gary Cahills, etc, etc. Andros Townsend, I mean I don't know if this, how you can let Andros Townsend go to Everton on a free, was it? I think so. And then watch his form for Everton since then is beyond me. I don't understand how the hell that was allowed to happen. But overall, the amount of players they let go, it was a lot. There was about 6 or 7 first team regulars, I believe, maybe more. They lost Van Aanholt as well. He left. That is the management of that club. I forget his name now. I've seen him on the TV a lot. The bloke who, I think he's given up a bit of the ownership or whatever, but he's the one who took over from Sam Jordan. And to let your club lose so many players on free transfers because you didn't tie them down to a longer deal or sell them when you had the chance is really shoddy management. So for Vieira to come in there, and he has them currently in 14th place. 3 wins, 7 draws, 5 losses on 16 points. former Celtic lad, who came in and scored on his debut. Got a couple of goals, didn't he? Not seen much of him since. That was against Tottenham, from what I remember. He's scored too many since, but he's got Benteke getting one or two goals. So I will always pop up with a few here and there throughout the season. He has Eberechi Eze back fit, and he's the young lad they signed in the summer from Reading. I forget his name now, but apparently he's a very good or promising young player. Yeah, I think they've got some really good players at Palace. They have made, a couple of cock-ups in the past. They let Sorloth go, didn't they? And now he's banging in the goals for, I think it's Leipzig. I forget now, but I remember seeing that he was getting a lot of goals. And yet Palace had to let him go for next to nothing, which was crazy. How they didn't get a tune out of that lad. But some teams it just doesn't work for with certain players. But I like Vieira. I think, like Gerrard at Villa, Vieira is just potentially biding his time for the Arsenal job. Like, if he does well enough at Palace, there is no reason at all why Arsenal wouldn't come calling. Because I watched Arsenal last night against Everton, and for all of the goals that Arteta's got his team doing a lot better this season, yeah, I'm doubtful of that. I watched them the last two games against United and against Everton, and yeah, let's just say overall they conceded 5 goals. But if you forget the 2 disallowed goals for Richarlison last night, they actually conceded 7 in 2. And you can say, yes, it's the rules though, there was offside. I get that. But your defence wasn't like the goal was disallowed because of a cheat. There's no handball, there's no injury to the goalkeeper like there was with De Gea. No, there's genuinely just your defence wasn't up to scratch. The Arsenal defence wasn't. And as a result, Everton scored 4 goals. It just so happened 2 of them were disallowed. But if it hadn't been for like a shoulder of Richarlison being offside and a toenail of Richarlison for the second, I think it was, then both those goals count and you lose a 4-1. So not good enough from Arsenal at all. And Vieira, why can't you get a chance there down the line? I can see it happening. Okay, and now we move on to Brentford in 13th place. I've been watching Brentford in the Premier League now for about 3 or 4 years. They had that very nearly, they was that close, weren't they, against Fulham in the playoffs a couple of years ago. Lost out on penalties, I think it was, to Fulham. And they've had other times where they just missed out on the playoffs or been knocked out in the playoffs, whichever. It was so good to see them finally get up. I like the way they do things. I mean, look at the players they've had up, sold on in the last couple of years. From Ivan Toney, who's there now, brought in from Peterborough, I believe. And they got who's the other lad up front? Oh, Embuemo. They had Ben Rama, who's now ripping up at West Ham. They had Ollie Watkins, who's doing the same at Villa. I like them a lot. They've got Kieran Norgard there, I believe his name is. Christopher Schier, the lad from Celtic. I think that's how you say his name. Yeah, Tom's Frank is doing a bloody brilliant job. It's like they've always been a Premier League team. He has them up in 13th place, which is pretty good buddy going for a newly promoted team in terms of results. They have 4 wins, 5 draws and 6 losses, which is 1 loss, 2 losses less than Villa and 1 loss less than Everton, which for a newly promoted team, I'm really impressed by that. What can we expect to see from Brentford long term? I feel at the end of the season, I think we'll still see them in the Premier League. That is a given. I would not be surprised to see them finish mid-table. I don't think there'll be a relegation fight. I mean, they lost their keeper about 3 weeks ago, I believe. He was my goalkeeper in my fantasy football team. He picked up an injury. He was going to keep him out, I think, till March. You'd think, okay, David Raya, isn't it? David Raya, my bad. You think, okay, they've lost their keeper. That could be an issue. They're still pushing on. What was their result on the weekend? Let's have a look. My memory isn't as good as it should be. So let's have a look at the results. When he wants to work. Okay, Saturday, or did they play Sunday? They played Sunday, didn't they? A 2-2 draw away at Leeds. Bear in mind, this is Leeds' second season in the Premier League. And Brentford went there, got a 2-2 draw. I think they had the lead, didn't they? They got picked back, which, yeah, Bamford with a very late equaliser, I remember now. But a point is a point away from home in the Premier League. If you're a newly promoted team, a point is a bloody good result. Especially against a team that are down below you. And you want to stay ahead of them. The way to do that is to make sure you don't let them get the maximum points. Ivan Toney, I don't think he'll be on the move at the end of this season, but I can definitely see him if he pushes on. Maybe at the end of next season, I can see him being linked to some big clubs in the Premier League. He's a strong lad. And Buemo, what bloody hell, he's decent. He's got a lot of pace about him. So yeah, I'm impressed with Brentford. Now we move on to Everton, who are currently in 12th place. So before last night's game, I'm just having a look at the table. Before last night's game, Everton would have been in 16th place, I believe. But their win pushed them up to 12th and 18 points for the season. So I wouldn't normally go out of my way to watch an Everton game if they're against United, yeah, or Burnley, yeah, not Burnley, sorry, Tottenham, yes I would. But I had nothing else to do last night. The missus was watching something or other upstairs. I thought, right, I'll put the Everton Arsenal game on. And I actually backed them on a bet. I backed Everton to win or draw the game because I just didn't fancy Arsenal. It wasn't because I had any confidence in Everton. I mean, they've been doing shockingly bad this season. What was it, like 7 losses in a row or something or other? Or 7 games out, win one or the other. Benitez, when he came in, there was a lot of anger from Everton fans along the lines of, how can we hire a former Liverpool manager, a former Champions League winner? I mean, remember that. He is a Champions League winner. You know, somebody who's managed at Chelsea, Inter Milan, Napoli, Real Madrid, Newcastle, Liverpool. How can we hire somebody with so much experience, but with Liverpool ties? And I get it, I honestly do. It'd be like us going, there's been talk about United getting Mancini, which I think is stupid. But again, former Man City manager, I'd be a bit, don't really want him, ideally. And over the last few transfer windows before this last one, Everton spent a lot of money on a lot of crap. Let's just analyse it quickly. So, Alex Iwobi. Yeah, I don't think I need to say anything else. I think he cost 20 odd million quid. nice squad player, but nothing more. Theo Walcott was there for a while. It's like they became the feeder club for Arsenal's crap. Give is it will recycle your crap players. Obviously, I mean, Gylfi Sigurdsson got some 40 odd million quid. Now, I'm not talking about the situation he's in at the minute, but 40 odd million on Gylfi Sigurdsson. That was a lot of money to spend at the time. I'm sure it cost 40 odd million. I might be wrong on that. Not sure. James Rodriguez. I mean, yeah, he brought some flair and he had a few good games. But was he really the type of player Everton needed at the time? Possibly. And now, oh, they also had that striker, didn't they? What's his name? The Turkish bloke who couldn't get going at all. I forget his name now. But now, Everton have Benitez in, and they basically said to him, look, there's no money at all to spend. I heard a stat yesterday they'd signed, I think it was 58 players since Farhad Mashoud had been there. 58. And have been through like 8 managers, including interim managers. They've just sacked their director of football, Marcel Brands, or let him go, one or the other. Before that, they had the bloke who, what's his name? Former Leicester legend, helped them getting Kante, etc. Marshall, Steve Marshall, is it? I think so. But they had him because they thought, well, he's brought in Kante at Leicester, etc. He'll come in and do a good job for us. Well, they tried him, they sacked him, just like they sacked Marcel Brands, like he's been allowed to leave. But they told Benitez, look, there's no money. We'll get you what we can. And what they got was a aging Andros Townsend, who wasn't apparently good enough for Palace. It's funny actually, Palace are playing Everton on Sunday. What's the chances? Just seen it on Sky Sports News. Who else did they bring in? Solomon Rondon, who, let's be honest, isn't fit for purpose in the Premier League at all. And a still young, but didn't prove himself at Leicester, Damari Gray. He moved to Leverkusen, didn't work out from there, and Everton. And he scores the winning goal against Arsenal last night. I mean, this lad, I was never a big fan when he first came to Leicester. Went to Leicester from Birmingham, I thought, okay. But he's just never really given a good run. Benitez has him there, he said, look, just do it for me. Just, you and Andros, either wing, whatever, get the crosses in for Calvert-Lewin, who's been injured for a while now. I mean, Benitez had some crappy luck with injuries. He had Mina out for quite a while. He's now got Lucadini out for quite a bit. Well, I say quite a bit. He's injured, I don't know that much. He has Dominic Calvert-Lewin out injured. He lost Sigurdsson probably permanently. He's still stuck with players like Alex Iwobi and one or two others that he probably just doesn't want in or around the team. Chentos, and that was the Turkish striker I was trying to think of. But yeah, I think there's potential there for Benitez at Everton, but to tell him he can't spend any money and then have a go at him when things ain't going great, I have to say I think he was dealt a bit of a shitty hand. Maybe if you give him a little bit of money, not a lot but a bit, maybe you can improve them a little bit more. Everton will be mid-table. I don't see them being in a relegation fight. I think Benitez gets to the end of the season, because do they really want to have to replace a manager mid-season with how little options there are out there? Pardon me. I think it's a bit more pride than that. So yeah, that is my opinion, guys. Everton mid-table, and he's been dealt with a crappy hand, with the fans turning on him a little bit because of his Liverpool connection, and not being allowed to spend money. Imagine sign Ancelotti, you can't sign Alan and James Rodriguez, etc. You can be given Andros Townsend and Solomon Rondon. Yeah, it wouldn't happen, but it happened to Benitez. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. We'll do part 4 in a day or two. Take it easy, and I'll see you all again very soon. Bye bye.